Hi everyone, this is Jennifer. This is something like take 100 on this video, so hopefully this time it works out. My background's a little different and the lighting's kind of weird, and I'm sorry about that. We just did new carpet in like the whole house, and my bedroom is still a disaster, and I figured nobody wanted to see a video with all my stuff piled up behind me, so here. This is going to be a combination wrap-up and library haul video. My last library haul video featured 22 books. Of that so far, I've read 11, so I feel that's pretty good. I think that was just last week, so 11 books in a week is totally cool. I'm good with that number. I'm going to start with the wrap-up stuff from the last haul, and then continue on. The first one from last haul is The Purloining of Prince Oleomargarine by Philip Stead, based on notes by Mark Twain. I really liked this one. I gave it 4 stars. My daughter enjoyed the first half of it, but then after that she lost interest. So I recommend this more for older children. My daughter just turned 7, so maybe 8. Maybe 8 is a better age for this. I love the illustrations on the inside of the book. I'm not wild about the cover, but there's no such thing as a perfect book, really? I mean, there really isn't. My favorite part about this book is that the chicken's name is Pestilence and Famine. I think that's great. It sounds a lot like a Mark Twain book. I think that Philip Stead did a good job of capturing kind of the way Mark Twain writes. I've been reading Mark Twain's short stories for quite a while now, and I'd say it was pretty good. The only thing that's going to probably bother some readers will be the section called the author's note, or notes from the author. That reads a tiny smidge pretentious. I think I mentioned that in the book haul video when I talked about this one, but overall I really liked this one. I think I gave it 4 stars. So I recommend it for people who enjoy Mark Twain, or anyone who likes very wordy, humorous juvenile fiction. So a lot of people could like it, right? The next one I read is Full of Beans by Jennifer Holm. It features a boy named Beans, his brother Kermit, and a little dog named Termite. Overall, this was very cute. It's excellent historical fiction featuring the Florida Keys in the Depression era at the beginning of kind of that New Deal goal to make the Keys over into a tourist destination. It was cute. It was very nicely paced. It was humorous. I think that it is very good for a boy who likes historical fiction. I think girls will like this too, but a lot of times historical fiction has a female protagonist as the main character, and this one is it's a little boy. So if you do happen to have, you know, that occasional little boy who doesn't read fantasy and likes to read historical fiction, Full of Beans is an excellent choice. I think I gave that 4 stars. Next was Ready Player One. I loved this. Of course I loved this. Everyone told me I was going to, and they were totally right. This was great. The first 20% of the book moves a little bit slow. It's kind of world building sort of thing. After that, the pacing is just great, and it's really hard to put it down. There were several days I went into work with very little sleep because of this book. So, yeah. I think I gave it 4 stars. I think that's what I gave it. Alright, so now we're into... I stacked these slightly out of order. Hold on. There we go. Alright, so these two were also from the last book haul video. I Am Pan, we finally read. It's kind of a graphic novel telling about Pan, kind of that whole mythology thing going on. It tells several different stories. I wouldn't read this all in one sitting. I would break this up and kind of read a story at a time. I think it's more fun to read like that. I don't really like the graphic novel layout. It's just not my thing. I didn't grow up with it. But people who do enjoy the graphic novel layout will probably really like this book. I want to say I also gave it a 4. For me, it was more of a 3.5. But of course, there isn't a 3.5 in Goodreads, so I think I gave it 4. The other one from last time is Duck and Hippo in the Rainstorm. This was a Goodreads Reader's Choice picture book runner-up. It's definitely cute, and I liked it, and my daughter liked it as well. It wasn't one of our favorite books this year, but it was still a pretty good book. It's very cutesy. Duck and Hippo have a little bit of a problem. They try to share this umbrella, which doesn't work so well because, of course, Hippo is huge and Duck is little. And so there's some little situations because of that. And overall, the illustrations are very nice. It's a cute book. And I'm sure that the younger kids will enjoy this little adventure. I want to say that I gave that 4 stars as well. Alright, so book haul portion. All from the library. This is Genuine Fraud by E. Lockhart. I recently read We Were Liars and I enjoyed it, so I'm hoping that I'm going to like this one as well. And I figure that I should kind of know what it's about in the event that teens ask about it at the library. I'd like to know what's in it, so there's that one. This one is Mr. Doctor. I checked it out because it was kind of in danger of being removed from the system because it hasn't been checked out, I think, by anyone. I think I'm the first one to check it out. This is a fictionalized account of the orphans of the Warsaw Ghetto and this guy whose name I can't pronounce who ran an orphanage. And unfortunately, I believe he died in a Nazi gas chamber. Now, I'm not sure how this fictionalized account follows his life, so we'll see. I really would have liked to find a biography, and actually I thought that's what this was, and then I saw the fiction label on it, and I was, oh well. I'm not going to read this to my daughter, because I don't think she's quite ready for that yet. However, I hope to read it in the next couple weeks. The next one is The Bad Seed by Jory John. My daughter and I already read this together, and she ranked this one #1 out of the whole stack of picture books you see behind me. It's definitely very cute. I think I gave it 4 stars on Goodreads. It's about this poor little sunflower seed who has just this horrible traumatic experience and then turns into a bad seed. And then at the end he kind of tries to start redeeming himself as he slowly starts to get over this trauma. And I think it's got a good story to it. It's also funny. So you can kind of ignore the moral story and just be amused by it, or you can fully engage in the story, depending on the age of your child. So overall, I like that one. Rotten Ralph's Show and Tell by Jack Gantos? Yeah, Jack Gantos. This one was okay. This was another older one that was in danger of getting deleted. My daughter liked it. She ranked it 2nd out of this whole stack, which was a little bit surprising to me, but she really likes Ralph. She loves cats, and Ralph is just a bad cat. So, yeah, that's Rotten Ralph. For me, it was more of a 3-star book, but we compromised. So I think 3.5 stars is what I give it. Mary McScary by R.L. Stine. This is kind of a newer picture book. I'm not sure if this is Stine's first picture book, but I know if he has any others, I haven't seen them. This focuses on a little girl who is Mary McScary, and she loves scaring people. However, she has trouble scaring her cousin. He isn't afraid of the snakes or spiders she finds to try to scare him with, but in the end she does find a way to scare him, and I'm not going to ruin it for you. You'll have to read it and find out. For me, it was kind of a 3-star book because I didn't really like the illustrations, but I did like the story. My daughter really liked it though, so 4 stars is what it got officially. Next was Douglas, You Need Glasses. This one was a Sunshine State Young Readers Advisory selection for the younger group, the junior group. And this is a cute story. It's about a dog who is accidentally chasing leaves instead of squirrels because he has bad vision, and he ends up getting glasses. The book also features some children at the end wearing glasses, and it's basically, this is a good book for anyone to read, but it is a great book for anyone who has a child who's going to start wearing glasses. So yeah, this is one of those books where it's good for anybody, but it's great for people who are getting glasses. Posy by Linda Newbery. This was another older one I checked out to save from deletion. It is adorable. I love the way Posy is illustrated. It's very sparsely worded, and it's just adorable throughout. There's little Posy. It's really cute. I'm giving it 4 stars because it is just a very fun book to read, especially with a younger child, like that 3 to 4-year-old where they don't sit still for long enough. I think this is a great choice for them, especially if they like cats, and let's face it, most little kids do kind of like cats, so. Malala's Magic Pencil. I'm sorry I'm saying her name wrong. I practiced a bunch and I'm still butchering it. This is a beautiful book and of course an important book. And my daughter didn't really enjoy this, but that's because the message in it is so serious and she's so silly. And so for her, this isn't what she wants to read about, but that's too bad because it's important, so we're going to read about it. I definitely recommend this book. It is wordy enough to get the point across, but not so wordy where you're like thumbing through going, how many pages do we have left? And it has a little kind of historical information at the back that you can read with older children. It glosses over what happens to her. It just shows her in a hospital gown, so if you have younger kids who aren't quite ready for the whole story, it glosses over it nicely. So I definitely recommend it. Again, beautiful illustrations, excellent pacing, not too wordy. It's definitely an excellent choice if you're looking for that sort of book. The 9 Lives of Rotten Ralph by Jack Gantos. Blah. This one basically is just a summarizing of Rotten Ralph's other adventures. So if you've read the other books, then you've already seen everything that happens in this one, pretty much, you know? If you haven't read the other books, then it feels weird. Like, you're like, what is this book? What's this supposed to be? And basically, yeah, it's kind of a wrap-up of the previous books. My daughter liked it. I just thought it was okay. We compromised at 3 stars. Poor Rotten Ralph. I know I'm hitting him hard today, but oh well. This is Mac Barnett's Triangle. I thought this was really cute. Of course, this is getting a lot of hype. It's gotten a lot of hype since it came out. At least as far as picture books go, right? As far as picture books go, this gets a lot of hype. And the illustrations are beautiful. They're kind of these earthy tones throughout. Triangle plays a prank on his friend Square, and then Square accidentally kind of pranks Triangle back. I'm not going to go into too much detail because otherwise it ruins the fun of it. However, I think that you can overhype this book. And I feel like I was expecting more than what this book is. However, if I would have just come across this without hearing anything about it, I would have loved this. I still really liked it, so it's a 4-star book for me. It's another one. It's not really wordy. You could even read it to young children. It's definitely quickly paced. Just like a sentence, maybe 2 per page. And it's got some repetitive language, so younger readers could probably handle it after you've read it with them once. Next book haul book is Leaf. Oh, I'm going to goof her name because her name's covered and I knew I was going to forget it. Sandra Diekman? The story isn't as great as I wish that it was. It's still pretty good. The only thing that really bothered me was just it wraps up way too neatly, way too quickly at the end. It's just too clean of a solution. But of course kids will like it, and I think parents will appreciate the clean solution. You'll notice my camera just moved. That's because my cat is playing with the tripod. Isn't that cute? But the illustrations in this are beautiful. They're some of the prettiest illustrations I have seen. They're just excellent. I'm trying to get to the really pretty one because you have to see this one. I'm not sure how clearly you can see that, but it's a beautiful book. Basically, it is sort of about global warming. It's about a polar bear who floats away from his family and gets stranded, and all he's trying to do is get back home. And initially the other animals are afraid of him, but finally they ask why he's there, and then they help him get home. But the solution for how he gets home is just really easy. So that part was the only negative in it. It was the only thing I didn't like. But the illustrations are so pretty that it totally compensates. I would say that this is one of the prettiest books I've read this year. And that's saying something. I've read a lot of picture books, and this one is just beautiful. One Fine Day by Nonny Hogrogian. I'm probably saying that wrong, and I'm sorry that I am. I do look up how to say these names, but then I turn my camera on and my brain just flushes all of that. This was a Caldecott Award winner. I can't remember what year. It was a while ago. I will say this. I like the illustrations, and the story is one of those stories where it's a building kind of structure to it. This wolf gets his tail cut off for stealing milk. I think, was it milk? Yeah. My kid yells yeah from the other room. I'm gonna double check though. Yes, okay. And all he wants is his tail sewn back on. But to get what is requested of him, he goes to another animal, and then he has to get what they've requested, and then he has to get what that one's requested. And basically, it's all these steps that he has to follow through on to get the woman to sew his tail back on. My daughter found it a little traumatic that he got his tail cut off, so maybe some kids won't like it based on that part. Obviously, it's still excellent. However, there is that. A lot of kids may not like that at all, so overall, I liked it. I'm giving it 4 stars. But yeah, some young readers might not appreciate that. The next one, Big Words for Little Geniuses by Susan and James Patterson. This is a cute idea. The illustrations are nice. The only thing that I'm not overly wild about are the pronunciation guides on the words. I wish that they were just like the ones in the dictionary, because I know how to use those. These ones, if you aren't a dummy, you'll probably be able to use these just fine. I struggled a bit with them. Obviously, though, you could pre-read the book and use Google to teach you how to pronounce these words so you can share them with your little genius. So, yeah, it's cute, and I see why it was very popular. I think it was kind of on a bestseller list for picture books, and I can understand why. It's cute. It's got wide appeal. Next one. Adam Rex is kind of definitely in probably my top 20 of children's picture book authors. He definitely writes a nice, funny, weird picture book. And this one's no exception. Nothing Rhymes with Orange. Basically, the whole thing is a song. Like, all these different fruits are singing a song that, of course, rhymes. And Orange knows he's not going to be included because nothing rhymes with orange. And it's just silly and crazy. It is a little bit hard to read aloud because, of course, Orange's lines kind of interrupt the song. I found it easier to just read the page and then go back to Orange's dialogue. It's very cute, it's funny, it's ridiculous. It's basically everything little kids like in a picture book. I think I also gave that 4 stars. I think. How to Be an Elephant. This is juvenile nonfiction. And this one, I believe, has a starred review from School Library Journal, so you already know it's going to be good before I start talking about it. It is another one that has very pretty illustrations. I mean, I'm sorry, that's just pretty. And it doesn't do that thing. You know how a lot of nonfiction books have all these like little text boxes where you read this paragraph and then you jump to here and you jump to here and you jump to here, and it's kind of frustrating to read aloud. This one doesn't really do that, which I appreciate. I like to just be able to just pick up and read the book, you know? And it's got some of these beautiful spreads in it as well that are just really nice. I can see why this has a starred review. It's absolutely adorable. It's educational. It's great for children who love nature, or if you're a homeschooler and you want to read about elephants, but you want to be able to read it like a picture book, this is your book. You can read this like a picture book. It doesn't have maybe as many of those facts and figures and all of that that you see in a traditional nonfiction book, but it feels like it has a lot of the same information. It's just presented in a way that reads more like a picture book. So I like it. I gave it 4 stars as well. If Sharks Disappeared. This one is by Lily Williams. There we go. I know, I had to cover it with the barcode. I feel so bad. I hate when I have to do that. Lily Williams, If Sharks Disappeared. This is also juvenile nonfiction. It also reads really nice. It reads like a picture book, which makes it very easy to share with kids without doing that whole interrupted read the different boxes thing. So this is great. The only thing that I wish is that there would have been more different kinds of sharks included. They are included on the end papers, but not so much within the book. The book is more a general overview of what would happen if sharks disappeared. So it's great. The illustrations are cute. It's so cute. It really makes sharks not scary. And I do appreciate that. That's great. And it's another nonfiction book that flows very well. It flows like reading a picture book. So another recommend. Definitely 4 stars for that one as well. I know I'm giving out a lot of 4 stars. And I can explain that. It's because I don't read bad picture books. If I pick them up and they look like they suck, I put them back down. That's it. Unless my kid has picked them out at like a thrift store or something and then I'm stuck reading them. But I'm not going to sit here and spend several minutes talking about a book that was terrible. I'm just not. So, yeah, that's why there's so many 3 and 4 star books, because that's just what I read. Tricky. This one is by Carrie Rust. Or Roost, if she wants to say it like that. I'm not sure how she says her name. This was cute. It's not perfect, but I liked it. It was fun. It's a fun read. I'm trying to get to a good page where you can... It follows this dog named Tricky and his owner, the Duke, and they play horrible pranks on people. But of course, Tricky's a dog. He doesn't know he's playing horrible pranks until a new person moves to town and she's nice to Tricky, and then they play this horrible like prank on her and Tricky realizes how mean it is, and then he starts playing horrible pranks on Duke, who kicks out Tricky, who goes to live with the new lady. The illustrations are really nice. My favorite scenes in this are where Tricky is playing tricks on Duke, because they're really great pranks. They're adorable. It's well illustrated. I have to give it 4 stars anyways because it's fun to read and it's adorable. I feel like I've been using the word cute and adorable a lot in these, but it's picture books. What other word are you going to use to describe them? I mean, really. We're getting down there. You Belong Here by Clark, M.H. Clark. This one is kind of one of those sappier picture books. It follows this, it talks about all the places these animals belong and who they belong with, and it wraps up every few pages with the idea that you belong with me, which is the parent saying that to the child, you belong with me. The illustrations are pretty, kind of these muted, I believe this is called using negative space, right? Where it just doesn't have any illustration in the middle. It's negative space. Again, very pretty. And if you have a child that really likes sort of sentimental books, this one is nice and sentimental. It is a little bit of a nuisance for libraries because it has this cloth spine that spine labels don't like to stick to. But it's beautiful for the home library. I recommend it for the home library. This is probably a really good book for a grandparent to get for a grandchild, or a parent to get for a child. But again, it's one of those really sentimental books, more so than like a fun or a funny book. But they have their place. And that one isn't like gag you sweet. It's nice, you know? Kings of the Castle by Victoria Turnbull. For whatever reason, people don't want to check this out. I'm not sure why. The illustrations are very cute, and they sort of remind me of kind of like a blend of Where the Wild Things Are and what's the other thing they look like? I can't remember. but they sort of feel like a nod to The Little Monster and Where the Wild Things Are. The feel of the book is different, though. It's an adventure that takes place partly in imagination. They are on a beach. These two characters, they meet on the beach, and they build the sand castle, and then they are kings of the sand castle until the sun rises and the sea washes their castle away and they go home. It's cute, so I'm not really sure why it hasn't been picked up as much as I expected it to be. The story feels a little uneven, maybe, you know? But the illustrations are really pretty, and usually that's enough to make a picture book very entertaining, so I don't know. It feels more like a 3.5 book, but of course the limits of Goodreads mean that I give it a 4 because a 3 feels too low. Next. This was a strange one. Neil Gaiman? I think it's Gaiman. Neil Gaiman's Cinnamon. This is a picture book about a girl who is blind because her eyes are pearls and she cannot speak, and her parents offer some prizes for whoever can make her speak, and it ends up being this tiger. This whole book is very strange. It's really strange. The prizes the parents offer are weird. The characters in the book are strange. This is definitely for people who are fans of Gaiman to begin with. Definitely people who want to read everything he's written. This is for you. My daughter probably would have liked this book more, but she found the girl's eyes terrifying. So we had a little bit of trouble reading this one. The story is... I'm trying to think of what it reminds me of. If you've ever read Rudyard Kipling's short stories, some of his are very strange, and it kind of feels like this is kind of meant to be a nod to Kipling's stories. So I'm thinking that's kind of what this was trying to do. It's definitely for, I would say it's for adults and older children, or, you know, younger kids if they aren't afraid of the girl, which is just, I don't know, my kid is afraid of funny things. Let's see.
Hello.
Hi, kid. I'm still recording. Yeah, that's the other disadvantage of this filming location. In my bedroom, I can shut the door so everyone knows I'm filming here. You've probably heard my cat meowing, and, you know. Oh well, it is what it is. I Won't Eat That by Christopher Silas Neal. This is really cute. I like this. It's funny. It's not too wordy. Basically, this cat doesn't want to eat cat food, so it walks around asking other animals what they eat. And basically, it rejects all the things the other animals eat. You know, like whale food is too weird because it's bioluminescent phytoplankton, you know? And it's got a funny ending where a mouse walks up to the cat, and the mouse is trying to figure out what to eat, and so he asks what cats eat, and it ends with the cat figuring out what cats eat. So, a little morbid, but I think that's what makes picture books kind of fun. Next one is Shelter by Selene Claire. This one's cute. It's kind of almost a morality tale sort of story, where everyone is getting ready and taking shelter from a storm, and then two strangers come by who are lost in the storm, and everyone says that they don't have room to take them in, and they don't have any food, and, you know, it's all kind of lies. They just don't want to take in the strangers. And this little fox, they don't take in the strangers, but they do offer them a lantern so that they can find their way. And then what ends up happening is there's this big snowdrift. The two strangers build a shelter in a snowdrift, and the little fox's family, their house caves in because of the snowfall, and they end up sheltering with the two strangers they helped out earlier. So it's kind of cute, definitely sort of more of a moral tale, which isn't always that much fun to read, but this one's nice. It's not overbearing, it's not too preachy, it's a good balance and a morality tale. So that one's more of a 3.5 star for me because it's not very much fun to read, but it also isn't miserable to read, and it teaches an important lesson. So it's gonna end up with a 4 on Goodreads. Next is Robinson by Peter Siss. Yes. If you're familiar with Peter Siss, you know that his books are all a little bit strange. And by strange, I mean wonderful. They're wonderful books. This one really isn't an exception. This one draws on his memories of being a child dressing up for a costume contest, and also on his memories of enjoying reading Robinson Crusoe, so that's why it's named Robinson. The illustrations in it are typical of Peter Siss. They're nice, they're bright, they're strange. Again, I would recommend this one. It's excellent for anyone who's a fan of Peter Siss, and it's a good one to check out if you think you might possibly, if you like his illustration style, you're gonna like this book. Let me put it that way. So that's all of it. Most of it I've already read since checking it out, so there's not too much I have to tell you about next time. Yay! So until my next video, have a good one. Bye.